of all the tool is same. So how visually we can present the data. Okay, so what are the strengths of a Tableau now? So strengths of a Tableau is speed. So whenever we're dealing with a huge data, so the calculations, the loading of a data is very faster in Tableau. Okay, and the ease of use, because the interface that is provided by the Tableau is very easy to understand comparative to the other tools. So we can see there is an increasing growing in a market for a Tableau. It is directly connected to a different kinds of databases, and it is very easy to publish the data and share the data once you have formed the visuals. So those are some strengths of a Tableau, and I would like to take some features of a Tableau. So using this Tableau, then what we can do with this tool? So we can identify the business gaps by giving some solutions. We can analyze the data very rapidly. So a person sitting and handling an Excel sheet and arrive at a certain conclusions can take a lot more time as comparative when a person is analyzing the same data using a tool. So the tool usually rapidly analyze the data and give you the different solutions uh, digged into a data. So we can easily browse and explore the data using different features of a Tableau. So the dashboard of a Tableau is very friendly. We can easily understand even though we don't have a much technical knowledge. Okay, so we can easily observe the data and we can use some calculations in Tableau if a data is not ready-made. So we have to do some play with the data, do some manipulations and calculations to arrive at a certain conclusions. So these are the some features of a Tableau. Now using this Tableau, we people differently have uh, different view. So if there are exclusively jobs for Tableau in the market, so people who are expert in this tool, they have exclusive positions. But usually the knowledge of a Tableau is combined with certain roles, and one among them is the business analyst in the market, data analyst, data scientist, Tableau developers, BI developers, or the reporting leads. There are plenty more in the market, but usually a combination of Tableau with BA is very good in the market as of now. Now, coming to a different kinds of Tableau products, there are plenty of Tableau products, and the most popular among them is Tableau Desktop, Tableau Public, Tableau Online, and Tableau Server. So in this class, we focus about the desktop. Now, the topics that we are going to discuss in this class. So these are the some topics that we discuss, like a data sourcing, live and extract, joins, unions. We so we don't focus on the order and sequence of the topics, but as we go on, we take a different scenarios and then we can do the analysis in a Tableau. So let me open the Tableau one. Okay, so this is a new file I've just started, and when you install a Tableau, and then this is how the first landing page will appear. So we can connect to a different sources, which we can see on a left top corner of the screen. So it's I can connect to a different sources of data. So I can also connect to a server and save the data sources also. So the Microsoft Excel. So there are different things. If you want to explore more, Tableau will always give an option to connect to various tools. You can see there are SAPs, there are Microsoft, there are Oracle, there are Google.
I'm not able to.
Sorry.
Can you share full screen of your PowerPoint?
The screen is frozen. It's not visible. Like I cannot see anything. It's like just the previous step you have done. Which screen?
Can you check now?
Yeah, now it's fine.
It's fine, right?
Yeah, but can you do some activity because I can only see a screen now.
Okay, fine. So you can see the different sources that we can connect using the Tableau. Let's take my Excel. So I have a saved data as of now, so I'm using that. So I just open one of the file. So it's very common. So it talks about the sales in one of the country. So it's so once I have uploaded the data, so I'll have to explain about the sheet also. Hmm. Time it seems the Excel sheets. Let's continue. Okay, so once you load the sheet, you can see here there are sheets. It's nothing but these are the each sheet that we have saved in the Excel sheet. So each sheet is now treated as one table by a Tableau, and then we can see the connections. The name is given as a Microsoft Excel. We can add more connections, more source of data sources to the Tableau here. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm quickly just drag and dropping the one of the sheet into the view. Now, once I did that, automatically I can see the data within that sheet. Okay, within that spreadsheet. So these are the columns in that spreadsheet of southern region. So which talks about the order ID, order date, shipping date, the customer ID, product ID, categories, quantity, sales, profit, discounts, and the order year. So to start analyzing any data, so understanding the data is very important. So without which we cannot identify or analyze the data properly. So we need to know what kind of data we are dealing with. So this is a simple e-commerce information. So where the shipping of the products and how many sales happen over a period of time, then what was the profit, who are the customers, what are the categories and subcategories. So those kind of information are there in this sheet. Okay. Now adding to this, if I want to combine two or more tables together. So assume that a southern region is there, and to this I want to add returns. Then I can drag and drop here, and see by default what is happening here is the Tableau is combining through the inner join. So we have to understand the joins also for this. Inner join is something, 1 second. Sorry for the delay. So we have 4 different kinds of joins that will happen here. So inner join is nothing but a table which has both matching columns. So Tableau will compare that and it will take as an inner join. The left join in the sense the complete data in the left sheet and the matching one in the right. So that is called a left join. So right is all the columns in a returns table I will get. Along with that, if there is anything matching, then I'll get that from the southern region, which is a left table here. Full outer join is nothing but combining both the tables together. Now, if I see here below, it is an inner join basically. And in that, it is saying that order ID is equal to the order ID of the returns. So how the Tableau has mapped these two sheets together is it has identified one of the order ID in the southern region, which is matching with the returns order ID. So that's how the two sheets are mapped together in this particular thing. If you want to change the relationships, we can change the relationships, and as well as you can see your data is changing here. If you click on a right, then only right information will be coming. If you click on full outer join, so all the columns in both the two tables will be coming. So if you want to deal with the different Excel sheets, or within an Excel sheet you have different tables, we can combine using this. So if I want to add one more to this table, see I have one more join. So like this, we can add multiple tables within a Tableau. So before we proceed and start analyzing the data. So I'll remove this. I'll take one as of now. And we also call something called union. So basically union is nothing but appending the data to a single sheet. So assume that we have some, I just removed it and now I'm coming to the target. So target, you can see there are 68 rows in this sheet. Now, when I add returns to this, let's see how many will be there. Okay, now see, I have added both the tables together. Now this is like a union. So I just appended the data. It was 68 previously. Now you can see there are 36 rows. That means target was initially having a 68 rows. When I added returns to it, now there are 136. So the data gets appended like this, and we can add multiple rows in a table. Okay, so that's about the unions. And now I'm talking about the live versus extract. So on a left top right corner of the screen, we can see there's a connection type which talks about the live and as well as the extract. So live is nothing but since I've connected to this Excel sheet, so this is called a live connection. If it is an extract, what Tableau will do is it will copy that extract into a Tableau's database and it will save that in a database. So even if your live Excel sheet is changing, the extract doesn't change. So I'll just quickly go to the returns here. Okay, so here in this, I can see the 69 rows. I'm adding one more column here to this table as TN1. I'm saying it's not written. Okay, so I'm just edited it for the identification purpose. So in this sheet, I'm saving. Click save. I just saved the sheet. Now, so since I already extracted this one, let's look at the data of the target now. See, it is still showing 68 to me. So whereas here in this table, there are 69 rows. Okay, so let me go through quickly and see whether the data got appended here or not. So in our targets, okay. See, at the end, I'm on the end of the sheet, but still the data is not got added. Okay, so but now I'll move to a new and I'll take it as a refresh. Just refreshing the data. Now see, there are 69 rows here. So that means the data which I've added, now it has been a part of in the Tableau. So this is how we have to see. So when we are dealing with the data, we have to be very careful. So whether we are dealing with a live connections or we are dealing with an extract, so how frequently the data is getting affected or it is changing. If it is getting affected or changing, then how we have to handle the data. So that is also important. So since we have a limited scope, so let's do that. Let's proceed with the one of the sheet called Southern Region, and then I got my data loaded, and from here I'm just moving to a sheet. So at the bottom we can see there is a data source. It's nothing but what we can see now. I have a sheet. It's nothing but a worksheet. So when I have to analyze the data, I have a three kind of options available in a Tableau. That is a worksheet, next is a dashboard, and the last one is a story. Okay, so on these three, I will work to how the data can be analyzed. So I'm just going to a one sheet. Now, when I click on a sheet, automatically my data gets loaded on left side of a screen. There's nothing but the data pane. So this one where my columns is like a category, subcategory, so are here. So which is nothing but my columns here. So these columns now in a sheet got loaded with the dimensions and measures. Now coming to a dimensions. So dimensions are something which are not continuous. They are a discrete ones. So like a category, so city, so which I cannot measure. So those things we treat as a dimensions in a Tableau. Whereas if you come to a measures, they always deal with the numbers like sales, quantity, profit, discounts. Now these are like a continuous. So the measures are always continuous, whereas the dimensions are discrete, so which cannot be measured in numbers. So automatically Tableau will divide both the dimensions and measures with whatever data we are loading into a system. So using the columns, the type of the columns, it will automatically segregate those columns into the dimension measures. So once it has identified, it will also talk about what kind of columns they are. Like, is it a text? Is it a numeric column? Is it a date? Or it is something related to a geographic? So all those things are automatically segregated by the Tableau. Now, let's start with the small visuals. So I'll take the scenario. So I'm talking about the sales. So I just double click on the sales. Now you can see that automatically the sales got added to the rows. And then on a worksheet, we have the sales. So overall sales, you can see it's 3,91,000. But this data doesn't make any sense because we are not sure what kind of sales it is talking about. Okay. So let's bring in some categories. So double click on the categories, then you can see. So now we can see that the Tableau has automatically divided the data into three categories. So those are like furnitures, office supplies, and technology. So the categories. So within the furniture, the sales are 1,17,000, and within office supplies, it is 1,25,000, and within a technology, it is 1,48,000. So this makes sense. Now I can compare the data which I'm seeing in the form of a visual. Okay, so adding to this, now let's understand some features or components of a Tableau over here. So this is a data and we have analytics pane. So we'll understand what this analytics also talks about. So at the top, we can see there are the different files, menus. So like a data. So this is the option where I can connect to a new data sources. Okay, so when I click on new data source, see again it is asking me to, okay, what kind of data source you want to connect. Okay, this time again I'll take one more Excel sheet, but this time it will be a world literacy rate. See, automatically I have moved to a world literacy rate. Let's do one thing. I'll drag and drop here. So this talks about moving to a sheet one. Now you can see here the new Excel sheet which has been added in the form of a new data source. There are the new sources available here. Okay. Now system will ask which is the primary source of data and which is the secondary data source. So we can combine the two databases together. So assume that one is an Excel sheet and the other database is an SQL. Then we can combine together and then query. If we are doing two different data sources and we are combining to obtain at a certain visual, then that's called a data blending. So whereas in our previous discussion for the southern region, when we are dealing with a single sheet and in a single spreadsheet, we have multiple sheets and then we are combining together, we were talking about the unions and the joins. But when I'm talking about joining two different databases together, one will act as a primary and one will act as a secondary, then we have to map the databases also. And that is called a data blending. Okay, so continuing to the data, so we can easily connect. We have certain options to extract the data from our different databases also. We can edit the properties of a database. We can edit the aliases. So I'm not going in depth to a data considering the time we have. So we have a worksheet. Now I can create a multiple worksheet within a Tableau where I have an option to copy, export, and I have a different options within a worksheet also. So analysis is one of the strongest option available in a Tableau. So where I can see, we'll talk about this when I'm talking about the table calculations in this. So I have a map as well as a format, different format options. So you can download the Tableau Public, which is free for all. Or if anyone is having a valid student credentials, can download the Tableau version, and they can look at these options as of now. Okay, coming to the visual which we have created. So this talks about the sum of the sales by category. Now, when I click on a show me here, so these are the different visuals that are available in a Tableau by default. We can also bring the custom visuals, but that is not we are not discussing that at this point of time. So we can see the show me. So based on a data we have dragged here, then what are the other different visuals that I can create with the help of show me? So Tableau is automatically suggesting that with the help of informations that you're looking, you can view in different forms. So if I click on cross tab, now I can see the same categories, but in the form of a text. So this is like a text visual. If I clicked on a heat maps, see based on the sales, your box is changing the size. And coming to the highlighter table. So this is very similar to that is nothing but a cross tab, the first one which we have seen, but only thing is you have color highlights over the text. So this is nothing but if you click on a Tableau now, sum of sales. So this filter is automatically formed based on a visual selection. So the lowest sales is this one, so that we have a furniture, and the highest sales is a technology. So similarly, so based on my problem statement, I can choose different visuals, and where the Tableau will suggest me or give me the different visuals. So whichever is apt, and for the problem statement, we can choose that visual. So I'm moving on to so in depth of this next visual. Okay, so these are the three categories that we have now. Now, these categories I want to understand that over a period of time, so within a subcategories, or what are the subcategories sales within the categories. So I have a subcategories here. Okay, I'll just double click on it. Then I can see that automatically now the subcategories has been added to the categories. Now, the furniture, office supplies, technology are the categories, whereas book so this is a bookcase, chairs, furnitures, and tables are part of the furniture, whereas subcategories, these are the things. So within this, now I want to look at that what is a total sales. So I want to label it properly so that the users can understand this. So I can bring the sales to a labels, and I can easily see, so each subcategory, what is the total sales that are happening within a category now. Okay, so this looks fine, but again, so if I want to play with the colors, okay, or I'm interested in only one subcategory within the category, then how I can do that? So I'll just quickly go and do some kind of calculation so that Tableau can identify the highlighter. So I'm just going to analysis, and I'm creating one calculations. These are simple calculations. So I'm just talking about highlighter. So here, so anyone who has a good knowledge on SQL or from a coding background can easily understand some of these codes, because when a huge data which is there in your DB may not always will be helpful for you to solve the problem you're looking for. So for that reason, we have to do some kind of calculations to get that. So here, I'm just showing you a simple calculation how to do that. So if, so we all know about the if statement, so I'm just doing that. If subcategory is equal to tables, then true is false, and then I'm closing the syntax with an N. So here, so this is the calculated fields. This is the name that you want to give for the user understanding, and there is a formula that you have creating the calculations, and then if it is valid, then it will easily say the calculation is valid. Okay, so if there are any errors in the calculations, then the system will automatically identify them, and it tells that so there is some error in the calculation. So it was saying field name with trailing dot. So it's saying that there should not be any dot in the calculations. Now it's saying the calculation is valid. Okay. So like that, here you have a different options to play with the data using the numbers, strings, dates. So if you get a chance, so please select that and then use these kind of expressions within calculations, so that you'll be more familiar with how to play with the data to create a different visuals. So as of now, I'm taking a one simple calculation. I'm saying that if subcategory is equal to tables, then it is true, else false. Okay, and it's saying that the calculation is valid. and I just click on OK. Fine. Now see, once I do that, then automatically this is appearing in the dimensions. So it's talking about the highlighter. Right? So let's quickly take this and then pull into the colors column. So it's just running a query and I'll see. So I did so a simple calculation. I said that a subcategory, if it is equal to tables, then it is true, else false. Now that has matched only with the one. This is nothing but a tables, and that's the reason it is coming as a true, and all the blue ones are becoming a false. Okay, so this is a simple one. So with the help of a color, I can easily identify that how I can play with the data and how I can showcase it to my users. So if so I'm not interested in a single subcategory, but I'm more interested in a category. Then what I'll do is I'll just go back to this highlighter and I just click edit, and instead of subcategory I can put category. Now category. So if subcategory is equal to tables, then true and else false. But here the tables is a subcategory, so this will give a error. So what I'll do is I'll come subcategory is equal to furniture. Okay, this calculation is valid. Click OK. Now see, automatically this got highlighted. So the entire category got highlighted now. Okay, so I'll quickly duplicate this sheet, and then I have okay, so I have quickly duplicated. So I just want to understand that so this entering a manual and then observing one is a bit tedious. So but I want to consider all the subcategories at once, and then I want to see how the color changes. So this can happen using a parameter. So what I'm doing is I will pass the parameters through the Tableau. So if a parameter has matched, then automatically so the respective subcategory gets highlighted. So let us see how we can do that. So we can create a parameter either through analysis, or we can create from here. So we can see click a parameter here. So we have a parameter one. So name, category, subcategory highlighter. Now here I want some kind of string, because your subcategory is a text, so that's the reason it's a string, and I'm dealing with the list. So when I click on the list, now the tab is asking to add that field, so which I want to highlight. So it's nothing but here the subcategory. So when I click on subcategory, so automatically it has loaded all the subcategories into the system. So when I clicked on OK, see now the subcategory got added here. So now as I'll show parameter control. So when I did that, now the control has come here, and then automatically based on uh, a numerical order, so all the subcategories are listed over here. So I can see all the subcategories over here. So when I click something over here, so but it's not acting anything on my visual. Okay, so the problem here is I did not connected this parameter to this table now. So what I'll do is to connect this parameter to my table, I'll just go to the highlighter again. I'll click on the edit, and then now, so instead of category, I'll talk about the subcategory. Here is equal to subcategory highlighter, then true or else false. Okay, so now I have connected this. Let me bring the highlighter onto a color now. Okay. See now. So automatically, so it was a phones and the phone got highlighted now. So if any interest of my choice, like a fast turns, this got highlighted. So it's based on user interest. So these are called a parameter. So based on whatever parameter you choose, and based on that, the color gets highlighted here. So I can have a different filters apart from a drop down. I can have a slider. So you can see. So basically, so I'm just playing with the data over here. So different parameters. I have a different colors. So you can have a different options to choose single value list. So these are like a radio buttons. Now whatever value you want, you can do that. And also we can edit the colors. So I can see the highlighter action, and when I go here and when I click on edit colors, then automatically we can edit the colors which we are viewing now. So this one I want to look at for the green, and this one I want to look at with an orange. And try to will apply. Now automatically my colors got changed in the color combinations. So I can edit the colors also using this options. Okay, so now let us move on to the next problem statement. So this is fine. So I have seen the sales over a period of time for a category and subcategory. So this is, I'll just rename the sheet sales.
So can I ask you a question?
Yes, yes.
So there's another filter called top end. Can you tell us a bit about that also?
Fine, fine. So we haven't got up to the filters now. So, okay, fine. Let's discuss the filters now. Okay, so within this category, I'll create one more sheet and I'll delete the data based on the quick session here. Okay, so that's got deleted. So filters. So now assume that with this information, I just want to see the people who have the highest sales made. Okay, so I just clicked on a sales. So we can add the information to a view in a different ways. So one is double click and automatically Tableau will treat that, or else if you click on a category, so it is taking that. Or you can also bring the categories like this. So that is also, you can drag and drop or you can double click. Now within this information, so let's take that what are the top 10 products which has a huge sales. Okay, so for that what I'll do is, you have a filters option on the middle here besides that. So get the subcategories and then drop on the filters. Okay, so when you do that, automatically the system has given, the Tableau has given me an option. So how do you want to use the filters? So we have normally 4 kind of filters. So there's a general filter, wildcard, condition, and top. Okay. So if it is a general, then it will list out all the subcategories within the information, and then it is asking, so what you want to do with that? So you want a custom value list, or you want a selection from the list, or you want to use all. So it is based on the problem statement we can select. So here I'll go with the top. So I just want to identify the top 10 sales sum. So I want to understand. So instead of top, I will go with the top 5. Okay. So by field, I want a top 5 subcategories by sales through sum. Click on OK. Let's see what the Tableau will do. See, now automatically it has filtered out the information to me. So in this, technology was on top and phones was the one which was on top. So, okay, and so that's on the highest one. The second one is machines. third one is chairs, fourth one is tables, and fifth one is the binders. So this is filtering out with the help of a top one. I can also do, I'll just go back and I'll edit. So instead of top, I'll select the bottom five. So the worst sales that have been done within our subcategories. So when I click, now see, there's only one. Office supplies has the worst, and all the five category subcategories which fall under the office supplies only. Now this is a one. So I can see that office supplies category subcategory was sales with the 8,000. Similarly, the labels, fasteners, art, and the envelopes. So these are the bottom top five. So from the bottom top five categories,
Can we show
which are
both
having,
bottom and top in the same sheet? Like top
yeah, we
top five
can.
and bottom five.
Yes, yes, we can do. Okay, so these are the something which is talking about the top low, and 1 second.
How will we show that top five and bottom five on the same sheet?
Yeah, 1 second. So here, in that case, you have to give a different kind of a filter. So okay, you're using the uh, calculations, your field calculations. We can do that. Just a moment, I'll show you that. So create a calculated field. So here you want a top five subcategories, right? So you can use some of the filters also, the table calculations from here. To do that, let's first identify some profits also. Okay, can I come back on this both for the top five and bottom five?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so this one, let's revisit the template, what and all we covered till now. Okay, we have seen the data sourcing, we have seen the live extract, joins, unions, and data blending. We have seen the basic components and then working visual. Chart types, I've shown only the one, right? We'll see that. Filters we have seen. Okay, and parameters we have seen. Some of the calculated fields we have seen. Okay, let's move on to the hierarchy. Some. Okay, so I'm just coming to the sales and profits for the categories. Okay, if you see that Tableau has automatically suggested me, and then but this data doesn't look fine to me, right? So I cannot understand anything with the help of this data. So what I'll do is I will just go to the analysis and then remove the aggregation. Then automatically I can see the data is coming here. So there's nothing but scattered plots. So this has taken us scattered plots. So I'll just come up with two sheets here, and then the sales and this. I want it to be looking like this. Okay. Now we can see, so within a category, I can see the what are my profits and also what are the sales happen like this. Now, over a period of time, if I want to understand how are my sales, then I can get my order date into a picture. Then I can see. So I have a data from 2013 to 16. Now this is the information that I have. So with respect to a category. So I can see the categories along with the 4 years information. Now what are my profits and what are my sales? What I'll do is I'll just come back. I want to see who are the people with so I'll just remove the categories as of now. So I'll put profits are also I'm just removing. Now I only have a sales for the 4 years. Okay, so sales have been very good in 2016 and then followed by 13, 15 and 14. Now within this, I want to identify the customer who has been the top customer in the sales. So if I were to do that, we have customer name, then bring that to the filter. Okay, we have this. Then I am, or either you can put a condition or you can do this. So top 10 sales by some. Okay, but still I didn't got the customer name, right? Let's bring the customer name also into a picture. Okay. Now you can see the top 10 customers. I'm just sorting it out based on the highest values now. So these are the 10 customers with respect to a sales. So we have, so how much they have ordered for the 4 years. Okay, coming to this, Sian Millers and then Shahid Colister. So these are the people who have been top with respect to a sales. Now, if the same thing I want to look at with respect to a profits, let's see how I can do. So this data is a bit difficult to understand. So let's move on to something like a stacked bar. Okay, so if I can see, these are my top 10 customers, and with respect to a sales, so I can have a different visual from here. So coming to the data here, so Christopher is nothing but this person has contributed more to my profits in the year 2014, whereas in the year 2015, it is Sanjit Angel. And coming to the 2013, it's a Sian Miller with the highest sales, and he has been the main reason for profits within a top 10. So this is how we can analyze the data. Okay, so this is using filters. Uh, I just want to get back to the reference lines and trend lines also. So I'm just creating one more. So coming to a sales for the category and subcategory. So quickly, I want to understand what is the average sales I had within each category. So I can quickly go to the analytics pane. So where I have different options for the summarization, model, and the custom. So within this, when I click on a reference line and when I try to drag and drop, so it is asking me whether I want the average within a table, within a pane, or within a cell. So I click on a table as of now. So it will ask me the sum of the sales, so I can do some calculations whether I can create a parameters. So I want a sales average as of now, since I have a minimum, max, median also. So I'm just looking at an average as of now. So when I click on that, see, this is my average for the overall categories I have. So within that, if I want to change my categories, now I want to understand within a pane. I click OK. Now this is the overall average for all the categories. Whereas this average talks about within a provincial category. Whereas this one talks about within a subcategory and the technology. So similarly, I can use the reference line for the cell and the other things. And coming, that's about the categories and subcategories. Now, if I want to look at the profits within the same, okay, and I go back, so I'm just removing the sales. I want profits of the categories only, and over a period of time, I want the categories. Yeah. Now we can see here, so this is using the date fields I'm analyzing. So for the different categories for the last 4 years from 2013 to 16, how the profits are varying. So we can see in 2016 furniture category is a worst hit. So it has been in a negative profit. Whereas in 2015 for technology, it's been a best profits we come, and for the within 2016 again, so the profits are normal. Okay, so when I go to the analytics now, and I want to predict something for the future. Okay, so till 2016 I have a forecast option. Forecast option will be enabled only when we use the dates. So when I clicked on a forecast here, now see, so based on the past trend, so now from 2016 to 17, so the profit that I can expect at the end of 2017. And here, so here there is, for the furniture there is a trend that the profits will be better, whereas for the office supplies it says that the profits won't be there much. And whereas for technology there is a slight, so it's almost a constant profits in the next 1 year. So this is automatically it's showing. So this is one of the feature, but again this is just a prediction done by a Tableau, they're not the actual ones. So if the business user is interested in identifying the, so what can be the trends over a past 1 year or 10 years, then we can show. But this trends is again coming from the past data which we have. So we have a data of last 4 years from 2013 to 16. Based on that data, it will predict the trend for the next year. It doesn't predict, if a data is not there, then it cannot predict any trend. Okay, so that is a one. And so I'll just move to a tooltips, parameters, we covered groups, and sortings. Okay. Yeah, let's take some questions now.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, so like while we are uploading the Excel sheet, so the categorization the Tableau does, it's is it on its own basis, or we have to define certain things on that basis? It'll be categorizing like the metrics and this data, this numbers and non-numerical values.
Usually, if you can see this one, the Excel sheet. Okay, so this is a data which I have extracted from a database. Okay, in an Excel sheet. Now this is a sheet I have automatically uploaded in a Tableau. So once I upload it, it has identified the southern region returns target. So these are nothing but the different tables. It has treated as a different tables. So coming back to my normal sheet. Okay, if I go to a data source, you can see here. So these are nothing but the different sheets in my Excel sheet, different sheets. And within a southern region, see row ID, order date are nothing but these names. So automatically the columns in my sheets has become a part of the Tableau, and this is done automatically by a Tableau. So a user don't have to waste his time mostly to work on a data, but your data has to be clean. So first assume that there is nothing but there is no proper name given, then the Tableau might get confused in identifying that column. So what is that column exactly? So once we have that, sometimes we can have an also option to clean the data, and that data also we can do. So I can filter out here data, or I can change the data types, rename, copy the values. I can use some kind of calculated values here itself. I can use my alias names, okay, for the data. So the Tableau will automatically do that for us as of now. Yeah, next question. Any next question?
Hello, sir. Can you tell me the reference line is used for what purpose? Means that idea is not yet clear.
The reference science is to get an average of the calculations or visuals that you're looking at. So for this, okay, assume that I'm working on this sheet. Now I want quickly the average of the sales I want. Average sales. So this is the 4 years we have seen. So these are the sales into different categories and subcategories. Now if I ask, can you tell me the average that has happened, overall average within this? Now I cannot go back to my Excel sheet and calculate sum of sales and then divide it by something to get the average, right? So instead I can just go to an analytics and then I can click on a reference line. Now this average, how do you want? So you want for all the categories, or you want by category to category, or you want at a subcategory level? Okay, so if I click on a cell, then it will automatically calculate, and then it will show me the average of the cell. Click OK. Right. So within a table, I'll take. Okay, so this is for the overall average. So now the same average will also come to me when I add the sales, like 1 second. Okay. Now this average 23042 is an average of nothing but I'll combine, add all these, and then when I divide it by total number of subcategories, then this is the figure that I'll get. So this will save a lot of time for the reference lines. So it's nothing but basically the averages.
Okay.
Sir, hello.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, there is something called level of detail, LOD.
Yes. We are not discussing that in this class for the simplicity.
Okay, not about.
So level of details is nothing but same. I'll give you an idea. So when we are dealing with our data, so there are some fixed components, there are some variable components that where we have to do the calculations. So LOD is one of the toughest one within a Tableau. Okay, and so to become an expert in a Tableau, LOD, level of details calculations, knowing them is a must and should. But for a business analyst and for a data analyst, we are not an expert in our tools, so that we'll go to a LOD level and then do the calculations. So this is just to understand our data based on the available information that we have. So but you're looking for some certifications, or you want to go for you want to expert the tool, then maybe LOD is one thing which we have to learn.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir. You worked on the live data, right? So when you worked on the live data, if you manipulate anything inside the Tableau, that is the data which will be impacted in the original sheet which we saved in the shared drive.
Usually share drive.
Yeah,
I did not get that
where
share drive.
no, not I'm not talking about it's kind of a drive, not it's not a share drive kind of thing. You would save this sheet in a desktop, right? So you get the sheet and upload into the table here. So if you want to manipulate anything inside the Tableau, so the original sheet get impacted with this
No,
data.
it doesn't. So only fetching the data. So data sourcing means so we'll extract the data, so the information is saved in a Tableau, but it's not a vice versa. So my
Okay, if in
original data source doesn't get affected.
okay, whatever the case is, so you are updating anything into the original data, it is impacting the Tableau. But if you updating anything inside the Tableau, it won't impact the original file, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so this is nothing but assume that so there is an Amazon, okay, and Amazon has some it has a huge presence in India, okay, and now what I'll do is within a month. So I'll just give the example of this slide. So today, assume that till end of the February, so for the entire month, what I'll do is I'll run a query in a database. So that data I will fetch into a Tableau. Then I can start working on it. So this is only for the month of February I'm working. So that data doesn't get affected. Now the live and extract differences comes into a picture. Assume that till date. So assume that I just connected to Amazon and then I pulled the data. So as of now, so assume that it's 22nd March and 12:30. So till this date and time, whatever information is there in Amazon data, it gets pulled. And with that information, I can start working on it. But assume that after end of the day, there might be some sales, there might be some cancellations which I've done in the Amazon e-commerce. Then how about that data? So now my prediction gets changed, my visuals gets changed because my data has changed. So to avoid that continuity, so changing of the data, what the Tableau will do is when you're connected and we are loaded that data, so whenever you as on date, whatever data, so that gets saved here in a Tableau and you can start working on it. But if you want to refresh the data, say you have a refresh button on a top. Okay, so when you refresh the latest data which is available in a database, that gets reflected here in the Tableau. So, but the vice versa is doesn't happen as of now. That's
Hello.
clear. Can we move to the next question?
Hi, this is Hemant. And you mentioned that Tableau has a public version, that is a free version available for
Right.
download on the site. And what are
Yes.
the limitations of this free version when compared to the actual paid versions?
Yeah, so I guess it supports million. It doesn't support the huge data, that's for sure. So, but you can start working at an entry level. We can start working. So I guess it's for some max 10 to 15 MB data I can upload with some 1 lakh rows online. So that I can do in a Tableau. But a lot of features are also disabled. So there might be some cases which we have seen now may not appear in a Tableau. So you can see the live and extract. This is not available in a public. And also, once you have done some visuals, that is available to everyone who has an access to a Tableau public.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so as a BA, as a business analyst, so we would be using the Tableau desktop version, right?
It depends upon company to company actually. So there is no guarantee that we'll be doing. So first thing, companies who deal with a huge data that deals with the tools. Now in that tool also, so there are, I'm not sure how many companies are still using, but this is still one of the topmost used tool. Okay, so having a knowledge in this tool also helps us in extending our knowledge in a Power BI or any other tool. That is one thing which we can guarantee. And apart from this, there are certain experts who deal with the data in a real time. So a BA can understand the problem and give it to the Tableau expert, or instead of that, if there is no certain person available in organization, then BA himself can start working on the information. Now, this one, so whether we'll work on a desktop version or a public version, it all depends upon the company now. So if they have obtained the licenses, then we can work on a Tableau.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Any other question?
Yeah, what is the exact basic difference between Power BI and a Tableau? As a BA, what exact difference we need to understand and where to implement for a Tableau, where to use that, and as a Power BI, where exactly we can use.
For a BA, there won't be any differences between the Power BI and Tableau. So both are the BI tools and both are the competitors of each other. So the only difference is Power BI is done by the Microsoft and Tableau is some different company. So the ultimately, as a BA, we only look for the visuals, right? But internal, so the behind the scenes at how the calculations are happening, how the queries are running, so that is something that developer people will have to think about. So one difference that I find when we move depth into the Power BI as well as the Tableau, Power BI will talk about, so there is a concept called MDX. So that's called a query level. So that deals with the Power Queries. So if you're good at Excel sheet, if you're good at VLOOKUPs, and you know the Power Queries language, Power Query language, then you can easily get into a depth of Power BI. Whereas for a Tableau, we don't use a Power Queries. Instead, we use very similar to an SQL. So if you're good at SQL, then Tableau is the best one. But for a beginner level, both will be the same. It's just a drag and drop and then get the visuals, understand the data, and then start taking the decisions. But if you want to master it, then that's where the difference comes into the Power Query and Tableau. So the one more difference is Power BI, since it is done by Microsoft and most of the companies have this Microsoft licenses, so they will opt for Power BI. Okay, because sometimes they get it free because of some they purchase some other tools. Okay, like if they have some database tool purchased, and automatically they give a free version of Power BI also. So whereas a Tableau is not like that. So Tableau we have to purchase, and comparatively it is a bit costly in Tableau. But the advantages are also more in the Tableau comparatively. Fine.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions you have? Okay. If not, let's move on to some other topics. So I'll just quickly wind up the a dashboard and a story. So these are also important. Now we have seen that some of I'm just working on a different sheets, different sheets, but I want to look all these sheets together at one place. Okay, so now assume that there's a category and subcategory of the sales. Then these are the profits. I'll just remove and I'll create one more visual. Okay, so I'll talk about the profits within a category and subcategories. Okay, so these are my profits. This is a profit, and for this one, again, if I have to do the color one, I'll quickly go to a table calculations. Okay, I came to this. Profits. Now the next is let's quickly remove this. My profits over a region now. I'll quickly go to a show me and just select okay, so this is one. I'll go to a labeling part. Okay, now this quickly shows that within a states, what is the profits I have. Okay, now I want to look all these sales, profit, and the region wise together in one sheet. Okay, together in one sheet. Then how to combine? Then we have to work with a dashboard. So click on this new dashboard. So in the beginning, I told that we have a three important sheets. One is a worksheet, one is a dashboard, and a story. So we have seen the worksheet. Now click on this dashboard. Then this is a different view that you will get. So automatically all the sheets I have worked previously now part of your dashboard. The only thing is they are not the part of the view. So sales, so just drag and drop. Now here I can see my sales. Regions, we can either drag and drop or we can either double click on it. Okay, now what I'll do is for the device preview, instead of this desktop, so I can adjust my view from the different screens over here. So this is nothing but the device preview. So I can adjust either to width and height or fixed size. I'll take automatic. Yeah. So if I take automatic, now this is how it got fitted into my screen. Now as of now, so these are the highlighters which is giving me information to understand. So I can just remove the name of the highlighter. Show title. On top of my screen. For similarly, this one also I can do the same. So there is some, so there's nothing but arranging the data into a proper format. Okay, and so if you can see if it has fitted fine, then fine, or else if you want to adjust more, then that also you can do with the filters here. You can put the filters or you can have a more options. Okay, coming to the objects now I can use here. So I can use the different objects over here in the dashboard. I'm just taking a new. Say if I do so, there are some vertical components I can use. There are some text also I can use. So if I say this, so let's take COEPD. Now that is here. So if you want to add any manual text within this dashboard, you can add here. So you can add a text and you can have the color combinations, everything over here. And then you can make this as a floating point. So when you do that, then automatically you can adjust anywhere. So this is one. I'm just showing the different features that you have. Image. So you can also bring the image onto a screen. Okay. So you can see that when I drag and drop, it is asking me for a picture here. So what kind of picture? And also I can give a link here. So if I did that, click OK. See, actually, so when I type this, automatically Tableau has contacted the COPD server and has fetched that information into a Tableau here. So you can, so so I'll just put this as a floating and okay. Okay, so since it is a part of this, okay, okay. Okay, now this one I have taken as a floating. So if I click on it, see, I can have a different information. So this helps that whenever we're dealing with the data and you want to give a source of information of data or the relevance results, then we can use this URL concepts. And when we click on that link, automatically it revisits to that website. Okay, so from here, the home page got loaded here of the COPD. So the next is blank. So sometimes we want a blank so that we can just have a rename or give a proper naming or a legends in the dashboard. So for that purpose, we can use a blank. Okay. So for the extinctions, so for the extinction again, so this is for the further study of the information. Again, we can give the reference of some websites and then we can choose that. Okay, so here as of now in my version the extinction doesn't support, so so this is one option that you'll have. And apart from this, now I can have the story also. Now this information we can save, so the business user has to understand the data, or a person who has created these visuals will understand what the data is talking about. Okay, but the business people usually who will be very busy, so I don't think they'll have that much time to understand the data and then do things. So what here I'll do is when I click on a story, I'll have all the worksheets along with the dashboards I have. So you drag and drop the dashboard of your interest again, and then once you do that, so this is already added, but I'm not sure. So I'll just remove this again. Okay, now this is a story. Now I can add my story here. Okay, so talking about the states, so tenancy, Florida, and North Carolina. So I can add here. So tenancy, North Carolina, and Florida. Florida has negative profits. Okay, and now within for this, if you want to add one more story, click on this forward and you'll get one more caption. Now for this, you can add one more caption. Okay, so how the sales by category and subcategory are performing. So if you can see here, so this one, fasteners. Fasteners, okay, so like that, I can give the high level information so that a user can automatically view the problem statement. So When they click this, this gets highlighted. When you click this, this gets highlighted. So likewise, I can add multiple stories to a different screens so that users can understand. So you can adjust the screens. So this is called a story in the Tableau. So you have any questions apart from this? No questions?
Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
So like what exactly like the story we can use it for? So like the sheets we can use it for analysis, but and dashboard you can use it for a display. But what exactly is the use of the story?
The story is nothing but so when you want to explain different visuals together. So dashboard is a place so where you cannot add your comments. The first thing. Okay, so I'm coming to this dashboard. So it's nothing but here overall. So there are different visuals are here. But so assume that a manager is there. Now he cannot sit with us each and every time and what the data is talking about. So this visuals shows high level data, but sometimes we might end up giving a descriptive format for the same problem statement. Okay, in that case story we can add like this the information. So what are the regions, so automatically I can just read and understand. So when I click on this, so the respective visual get highlighted, and then from there I can just check the data and then do. So here there are only two visuals. There can be a cases where you end up combining more than 10 visuals in a single screen. At that point of time, now which visual will talk about what kind of information, then we have to write a stories for that. Okay, so these are not something like a user stories, these are like a visual stories. So what the visual is talking about, so what was the problem statement, how we have analyzed the data, and then this analyzed data what it is telling us, that information we will write here in the form of a small stories where reading that information the users can easily understand. Okay, can we move on to the next question? No more questions. Okay, if you have no questions, then we can close the session. And so whatever we see in are very basics. They are not into a depth. But if you want to be expert, then please identify so what exactly you want to do by learning this tool. So definitely this will be an add-on. But if you want an expert, then how you can combine the BA along with the Tableau. So you have to think and then tell. Fine. So thank you everyone. So for your time and also having a patience in the initial first half an hour. So thank you everyone.